Good morning, welcome to Vlogmas Day 7. It's Monday morning, it's early. I am wrapped up in my head witch shawl that I knit a few years ago just for warmth. I have my breakfast in front of me, I have the cat on my knee, and I'm easing into my day. I'm finally getting around to restocking the granola. I love granola and we all do here, but I prefer homemade over shop bought, and it has taken me quite a long time and quite a few attempts to get the recipe that I really love, and this is hands down our all-time favourite. I'll link the recipe in the show notes below so that you can see. So at the moment I have all my dry ingredients in, which is basically porridge oats, which are in here, and a variety of nuts. You can really add whichever ones you want. So all I have to do now is add the wet ingredients, which is coconut oil, and maple syrup. So I'll give that a stir and get it into the oven. Someone asked me about my advent calendars and where I had got them, so I thought I would just do a wee reminder of my calendars. I love the Yarn Dyers advent calendars, but as I had said when I'd started to open mine, just this time of year I can't run to that. I wish I could, but I can't. So my advent calendars are basically handmade, created by myself or a friend. Last year I had done an advent swap with Selma where she made up a calendar for me of 24 days, and I made up one for her. This year I sent her the 24-day calendar and she sent me a weekly calendar, which is fabulous. And these little packages arrived from her, so I open these once a week, and there's a variety of goodies in it. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, because tomorrow is the second week. But the other calendar that you see me opening every day is just one I created myself. It's exactly the same as the calendar that I sent to Selma. I kept a copy of it, of the yarny bits of it. All the yarns that are in my calendar and each of the little bags are yarns generally that I have used throughout the year or years to knit socks, and there were the leftovers that I have rolled up into 10-gram balls that I can add into an advent project. There are a few mini skeins in there that I have bought as mini skeins, but a good majority of the yarn are yarns that were just leftovers in my stash. I rolled them up and put them into little bags, and although I know to one extent what is in each bag, I can't remember what order I've put them in, and it's just fun rediscovering them and just seeing them knit into something completely different from what their original purpose was. They're all fingering weight yarns, they're all sock yarns. Yeah, I think they're all sock yarns, but they're all fingering weight. And then for the project that I'm doing with mine and that Selma's doing with her exact copy of this is we hold the fingering weight with mohair, lace mohair, and we're getting a double knit kind of weight for our project. But that's really the advent calendars. Advent calendars can be as fancy as you want to make them. I really enjoy these. I think they're quite personal. So this brings us to the end of another day, the end of day 7. It's hard to believe we've almost a week done of Vlogmas. December always rattles through. Today was a typical Monday. I don't know whether it's clear up after the weekend or preparation for a week, but Monday's the day when laundry's done and the house is tidied and just generally getting the place back in shape again. Amy had a few errands to do today, so I went with her for company, and I knit a little bit on my sock when I was in the car. It's the only knitting of the sock that I did today. This morning I was just too tired. I couldn't face knitting. So that's a couple of rows is really all I've put into the sock. I worked a little bit over lunchtime on my caramel cardigan. Selma, who is Little Big Knit, who I'm knitting this cardigan with, has just released her most recent podcast episode, and I'll link that below. Have a look at that. You'll see what she's doing with her cardigan and how her project is progressing. If you're interested in the twin projects, the link, as I said, will be below. The rest of this evening is going to be spent actually in here. I'm going to retreat and stay here for the rest of the evening. Amy's out to work, James is doing homework, Peter will be doing his thing, but I just thought I would come in and stay in here tonight. Don't want the distraction of television. I'm actually going to look through all my old Lina magazines. You'll have seen a little bundle of them just before this. I love this magazine. It's probably one of my favourites, if not my favourite, and it's one of the few magazines or pattern books, and I do have quite a few pattern books here, but it's one of the few publications that I actually have knit things from. I often look at the pretty pictures and say I'm going to knit that and I'm going to knit that, and don't actually knit anything, but Lina has produced something in all their magazines that I want to knit, and I've actually knit 3 things. My Kate cardigan, which I've talked about in previous podcasts, that was out of Lina. The Utu cardigan, which was this one, I've knit that one, and I've actually knit this one, which was out of the very first one, which is the Nuke vest. So I've knit a few things, but like all the other books, I see patterns that I like. I think I must remember, and that's what I want to knit, and then I forget, and particularly when they're put away on the bookshelf. So tonight I'm going to work my way through the Lina magazines and make a note of the patterns that I like and which magazine they were in, so that I can just refer to that rather than having to lift every book off the shelf and try and find it. that should keep me going for a little while, and it'll fill me with a lot of ideas, which is never a bad thing, I think. That's the plan, and hopefully an early night for a change, so that tomorrow morning I am slightly more alive. Until tomorrow morning, I hope you have a very good evening and stay safe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.